The Robinhood Gold Card is one of the most sought after credit cards on the entire market. And after many, many months on their wait list, I recently woke up to an email and a text saying that I was finally off of the wait list and could get the card. A few months ago, this would have been awesome news and I would have accepted it and started using it as my go-to credit card right away. But now, thanks to the Built Palladium card, I have a hard time seeing how the Robinhood Gold could even compete. Then again, this card is extremely popular for a reason. So even though this may be one of the first cards I ever regret applying for, I decided to accept their offer and test it out for myself. Today, I want to really deep dive on this card to uncover the truth about it and see if I'm just being overly pessimistic or if the Robinhood Gold card is actually worth the wait and the hype. First, let's start with its annual fee. Technically, this card has no annual fee, which is great. But in order to get it, you have to have an active Robinhood Gold membership, which costs either $5 per month or $50 per year. Interestingly, I was not a Robinhood Gold member whenever I was taken off of the wait list, so apparently that is not a requirement if you were curious. But in order to accept the card, I did have to sign up for it. Conveniently, they allowed me to do that during the card application and just charge that $50 annual fee to the card. But bottom line here, I'm going to be treating this card as a $50 annual fee card, so I need to be sure that I can offset that naturally. I'll be dedicating a full section to that topic later in the video, and during that time, I'm also going to show you some of the really high IQ strategies that I've seen from subscribers and Reddit that makes that subscription seem like a no-brainer. For now though, let's keep breaking down the card itself. Earning categories next. While most people only know this card for its flat 3% cash back on all spending categories, which is really great, mind you, it also gives you 5% back on all travel booked through Robinhood's travel portal. I don't have any experience with their portal, but I would still opt to use one from like Chase instead, since I can get 8x back through their portal with my Chase Sapphire Reserve, but still, this is a nice option to have. I want to note here too that while you can redeem your points at 1 cent per point, which is the cashback table minimum through Robinhood Travel, you should never do that. Instead, what you should do is just pay for the trip on your card to get 5% back and then cash out your points to your brokerage account to offset the cost. That way, you get an effective 1.05 cent per point redemption rate there instead of just 1. Yes, I know it's really small, but over the long run, it does make a difference. Obviously though, what makes this card popular is its 3% catch-all category, because in the cashback world, that is the absolute best you can get, which is why I was looking forward so much to getting off of that waitlist. However, in my travel focused setup, specifically with the Built Palladium, that earning rate isn't as competitive as you may think. Now, benefits. To be honest with you, this card actually doesn't have that many, but it at least has virtual cards, no foreign transaction fees, no authorized user fees, and you can add authorized users of any age. And then of course it has a ton of Visa signature related perks like trip interruption protection, purchase security, an auto rental collision damage waiver, extended warranty protection, and more. For my needs, the strongest benefit from that list is the fact that it has no foreign transaction fees, since that could then serve as my backup catch-all card internationally, since it's a Visa. But if you're somebody with young kids who you want to add as authorized users, or just want a lot of randomized card numbers for signing up for free trials or something like that, then you may like those other perks a little bit more. Overall, the core value prop of this card is that it gives you a flat 3% cash back on every single purchase. And that, of course, is great. But to really see if it's worth it, I need to see how much I not only just like, but how much I can realistically get back from the Robinhood Gold subscription that's attached to it. So let's talk about that next. I think the best place to start here is to just get a full picture of all of the benefits that come with you paying that $50 annual fee. At the time of recording, Robinhood Gold is going to give you 3.35% APY on uninvested cash, bigger instant deposits, Morningstar research info, $1,000 of interest-free margin, an exclusive mortgage loan offer and credit towards closing costs, no management fees for the first $100,000 of assets under management with Robinhood strategies, discounted index options trading fees, lower commissions on futures trades, a 3% IRA match on eligible Robinhood IRA contributions, and for a limited time, a 2% IRA match on IRA transfers to Robinhood. While that's a long list and a lot of those can be great for the right person, there are only a select few that piqued my interest, including that 3.35% APY on uninvested cash, the $1,000 in interest-free margin, and IRA matches. Since those are the three that I think most of y'all are going to care about too, let's work through those one by one, starting with the APY. Before we get there, whether you're on team travel, cashback, or a mix of the two like me, you'll need a way to manage all of your cards and currencies in one place, and the app that I choose to help me do that is Max Rewards. With Max Rewards, you can track all the important information about all of your cards, including your total card balances, point balances, credit utilizations, bill due dates, and more in one app. And when it comes to earning category overlap amongst your cards, which you'll definitely face whenever you have a hybrid setup, I use Max Rewards to help me instantly prioritize the right card for me through a combo of features. First, from my home screen, I click the little hamburger icon and go into the reward valuations tab. And this is where I'm able to set custom cent per point values for each of the point currencies I earn based on my personal use case, which is key. But then where we see the real power of this come to life is through the best card tool. Now all of my earning rates here show up as a cash percent return based on those point values that I just assigned, giving me a much more accurate recommendation of what card to use rather than just relying on those like sticker earning categories from their websites alone. And these are just a couple of Max Rewards features. They have a ton of others, not only on the free version, but also their paid tier called Max Rewards Gold, including the card value tab and the benefits tracker. And there's a lot more that you can explore too. So if you want to check out even just the free version, either scan the QR code on screen here or use the link in my description with my code attached, maxrewards.com/Spencer, to sign up, and you'll get a 25% discount off of Max Rewards Gold if you ever do decide to upgrade. So definitely take them up on that. And as always, thank you to Max Rewards for sponsoring this video. Let's jump back into it. As we saw in my recent video about the best high yield savings accounts for 2026, in today's market, their 3.35% APY is competitive. But we also listed multiple 4% plus accounts in that video too, so it's nothing special in the grand scheme of things. And with how I manage my money, I'm already basically matching that with my SoFi savings and Fidelity cash management account duo, so this benefit alone is not going to help me justify that $50 fee. Next is the interest-free margin. Right up front, I want to say that trading with margin is very dangerous and it does not align with my investment strategies at all. Just so y'all know, I'm currently solely invested in no-fee index funds at Fidelity and have never touched margin before in my life, nor did I ever plan to. But after talking with a subscriber about this, shout out Daniel Rubio, I realized there's a really unique opportunity here to use that perk to completely wipe the Robinhood Gold fee. And that's by parking that $1,000 in margin in a stable dividend stocked, or as Reddit suggests, something like SGov. But regardless of what you choose, the idea here is that as long as you're returning 5% or more on that money per year, then you're completely wiping that $50 Robinhood Gold fee. But it's really important to understand that in order to use that margin, you're going to have all of your cash invested already. Like that's the way that I guess Robinhood works, is that you have to put all of your actual cash to work before the margin, of course. So that means that if you decide to use this method, you will not be earning that 3.35% APY on any uninvested cash because you have none. So that is a big trade-off. But like I said a second ago, that APY actually doesn't matter to me. So this interest-free margin approach could work out perfect. And if I ever wanted APY from Robinhood directly, I could just open their dedicated savings account and get an even higher return. Like I think right now it's a base of 3.5%. So again, losing that 3.35% on uninvested cash isn't really a big deal, in my opinion. By the way, I guess I should have said this earlier, but none of this is financial advice by any means, and you 100% need to do your own research before doing a strategy like this. But it's definitely an interesting idea and one that I'll strongly consider implementing. And if you want to share your thoughts about that before I do so, then definitely leave a comment below. Arguably, though, the most profitable Robinhood Gold benefit from that list is the IRA matching. Basically, the way that it works is that if you open an IRA with Robinhood, traditional or Roth, Robinhood will match your contributions at a 3% rate. And the second part of that is if you transfer your IRA from another company over to Robinhood for a limited time, they're going to match your transferred amount at a 2% rate, which can wipe the annual fee on Robinhood Gold for years, as I'll show in just a minute. For long-term purposes here, though, let's focus back in on that 3% contribution match and say that you open up a Roth IRA with them and your contribution limit for 2026 is $7,500. If you were to max out your contributions, Robinhood will give you $225 back. So that means that you're going to be profiting $175 per year from Robinhood Gold with that one perk on an annual basis. Of course, the question becomes, what's the catch? Well, seemingly there isn't one. Aside from the fact that in order to not have that IRA match clawed back over time, you need to keep your IRA with them for 5 years. Since most of y'all watching my channel are younger and won't be touching your retirement money for that long anyways, that's probably not a big deal to you, but it definitely is something to think about. While that free $225 per year is a huge reason to consider using them, there is one problem with that for me, at least in 2026, and that is that I've already maxed out my Roth IRA with Fidelity this year. So until next year, I cannot take advantage of that IRA match, and that means that I can't justify the $50 Robinhood Gold fee this year. But you may be wondering, if I already have a Roth and I've already maxed it out this year, then why would I not take advantage of the 2% IRA transfer bonus and get hundreds, if not thousands of dollars back from that? I mean, mathematically, that is a very smart thing to do, but there's more to this personal finance game than just numbers alone. And where that comes up for me here is the fact that I have literally all of my retirement accounts with Fidelity. I think I have like 3 or 4 of them over there right now. And I really do like their specific no-fee index funds and would rather not transfer my biggest retirement account, my Roth IRA, to Robinhood right now. But at the same time, I'm definitely keeping this option open in my mind for the future, especially when you look at the examples on screen right now, which show just how crazy these matches can be. Even at, I guess, relatively low balances, you could almost wipe the Robinhood Gold fee for your entire lifetime by just using this one-time 2% match. So I don't know. It's definitely something I'm still thinking about. And maybe enough of y'all commenting will convince me to finally do that. We'll see. As for future years, though, I will likely end up opening another Roth IRA with Robinhood, and then I'd have one at Fidelity, one at Robinhood. They share the same contribution limit, but obviously if I'm getting a 3% match from Robinhood and not getting that from Fidelity, then I would probably want to take advantage of that, right? Before we move on from this Robinhood Gold subscription topic, let's not forget that there is another way to wipe the $50 fee that we haven't yet talked about, and that is to actually put spend on the Robinhood Gold card. If you're aiming to get just $50 back in value at a 3% cashback rate, that would require just $1,500 per year in spend, which isn't bad at all. However, that does not factor in the opportunity cost of putting that spend on a different card instead. And at a minimum, I would say that you need to include the cost of using a free 2% cashback card instead of this one, since there's so many of those. And in doing so, your spending requirement jumps up to $5,000 per year. That still isn't that bad if you're using this for all of your purchases. But because I have the Palladium in my setup, which returns more than the Robinhood Gold, I definitely would not be hitting $5,000 in spend on it right now. Honestly, not even $1,500. So the only way that I'll be able to wipe the fee in year one is through that $1,000 in free margin. But that's not exactly zero risk, and it'll only barely wipe the fee for me. So why the heck did I go for this card and pay that $50 right now? To fully explain it, let me walk you through the pros and cons that I sent out in a newsletter before accepting the card. For the pros, it covers Costco, I guess. It's a good backup Visa, and I can make videos about it. For a while now, I've been using the PayPal debit card for all of my Costco purchases since it gives me 5% cash back there, which is unbeatable, but they are nerfing that card come August by discontinuing the ability to cash out the points directly to your PayPal balance account, so it's not going to be as much of a home run as it was before. My only other option for Costco right now would be to use the Chase Freedom Unlimited at 1.5% back, but that would only net me an effective 3% cash rate of return if I was redeeming my Chase points for a minimum of 2 cents per point, which is definitely not guaranteed. Therefore, the Robinhood Gold could become my Costco card, and while 3% cash back is still a downgrade from 5%, at least I would have that flexibility in redemption options with Robinhood that I won't have from PayPal anymore. Oh, and there's actually one other option that I could use for Costco that I always forget about, but a different subscriber reminded me about this. And that is that I could technically use my built Palladium card to buy Costco shop cards online and then get a higher return by using that card instead of the Robinhood Gold. But still, I wouldn't be opposed to earning 3% cash back on those purchases. Aside from Costco purchases though, like I mentioned earlier, the Robinhood Gold would serve as a good backup Visa card if I ever needed it, specifically abroad. But honestly, I really shouldn't ever need it since the Palladium is a MasterCard and I do have like the Chase Sapphire Reserve as a Visa in a pinch, but I guess, this still is a pro of the Robinhood Gold. And then lastly, I could make videos just like this one about the card. Being a credit card YouTuber, in my opinion, I just don't think there's a better way to report on a card than to have it myself. So that was really a massive factor here. As for the cons, there is no welcome offer on it. It technically has that $50 annual fee. It will not get used much, and it has redemption method restrictions on it. The first couple of bullets there don't require any explanation. They kind of just suck, honestly. But moving to the third one, the fact that it won't get used much, I just realized I never actually told you why this one can't compete with my built Palladium. I've already made plenty of videos talking about this card. The most recent one came out just a couple of weeks ago. But long story short here, the Palladium gives me a minimum of 3.33x built points per dollar spent on it, since I'm redeeming my built cash towards housing rewards. And thanks to their portal boost, the lowest redemption rate I will ever get for my built points is 1.25 cents per point, making that 3.33x worth a minimum of 4.16% cash back. And because of that, mathematically, there is no way that the Robinhood Gold wins from an earning standpoint. But at the same time, cash is king at the end of the day, and I cannot cash out those built points anywhere near 1 cent per point. So that is something to factor in. Speaking of redemption methods, the last con of the Robinhood Gold card is that the only way to get the cashback table minimum 1 cent per point for all rewards earned on the card, or in other words, get the full 3% back on every purchase, is from the following options: cashback transferred into your Robinhood brokerage account, booking travel through Robinhood's travel portal, which we talked about why you shouldn't do that earlier, shopping with merchants in the Robinhood credit card app, and redeeming for gift cards. In my opinion, the best option is just to redeem all of your rewards through the brokerage account and immediately put those rewards to work. But ultimately, that's up to you to decide. And to be fair, this is not a con for me since I already knew this beforehand, but it is something that I really wanted to make you aware of, especially because during the onboarding process for this card, they offered to set up a weekly statement credit cash out on my card, which would have only given me 0.7 cents per point. In my opinion, that's not cool. It's the only option they actually gave me for any kind of redemptions, and I can't imagine how many people have fallen for that, decreasing their earning rate from that 3% back all the way down to 2.1% with the click of a button. After laying all of that out here, it's pretty obvious that the cons definitely outweigh the pros, and logically, it did not make sense for me to go for this card at the moment. But for one, if I didn't accept it right now, there is no guarantee that I'll ever get it in the future. While they're seemingly taking a lot of people off of the waitlist recently, it is still not a card that is just open to any kind of application. So part of me just wanted to lock it in while I can. Second, what's to say that the built Palladium won't eventually get nerfed, or maybe I just want more cash back instead? Sure, the Robinhood Gold will likely get nerfed at some point too, but in the meantime, I can at least test it out with Costco, get familiar with their program, and see if I end up wanting to go even deeper into their ecosystem over time. And third, the biggest reason, at the end of the day, it is my job as a credit card YouTuber to make reviews about credit cards, and I much prefer to do that from a first-person perspective. So ultimately, that was reason enough for me to accept it, even though I wouldn't recommend any of you do so if you were in my shoes. But as the saying goes, do as I say, not as I do, right? What do you think about this card though? There are a ton of opinions online about it, so I'm definitely curious to hear what you have to say. And if you want to see a video about this card's most direct competitor, the Fidelity Rewards Visa, that has a lower flat earning rate, but multiple benefits that the Robinhood Gold doesn't have, which may actually make it the better option for you between the two, click into this video next. As always, Odin and I both really appreciate you watching this video. If you did enjoy it, consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and checking out all the links in my description. That is the best way to support us. With that being said, we'll catch you guys next time.